Hello, I'm Doug Crawford with the Board of Directors of the Navy League of the United States and the Santa Barbara Council. Here today at the Jewel of the Pacific, the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, on a beautiful Santa Barbara day with a beautiful Santa Barbara citizen, Mr. Larry Crandell. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you, Doug.
We're here today to talk about something that's pretty exciting, I think, and I'd like to learn a little bit about what brought you to the idea of and now the delivery of Santa Barbara's newest book, Silver Tongue.
My son Stephen, whom you'll see soon, wanted to come back to the United States. He produced and wrote the national news in New Zealand. I was helping an organization called Devereux. I mentioned that and they said, we'll hire you if your son, who's a journalist, would write the Larry Crandell story. I made the deal on the spot. 16 months later, we have the first paperback, which Doug, your copy, which you're holding in your hand.
Well, and a worthy piece of work it is. I must say that I have read some of the script early on as part of the book, and I really enjoyed it. It was very humorous but poignant at the same time. And the reason that we're here on Santa Barbara Navy League TV is to say thank you to Larry as one of the premier supporters, not just of the Navy League, but of just about every nonprofit in existence, probably for the last 40 years here in Santa Barbara. And Larry, I'd really very much at this time like to introduce Stephen Crandell, your son, so that the two of you can talk a little bit about this book and about what father-son experience was to bring this to the community.
Well, thank you, Doug. It's an honor to be here on Navy League Television, and I'm honored to be with my dad. I mean, this book is called Silver Tongue, Secrets of Mr. Santa Barbara, but another title could be Honor Thy Father. I think a lot of us in life don't take the time to appreciate the people that we love, and then sometimes the time runs out. I decided that wasn't going to happen with us, so this is a long appreciation of Larry, not uncritical, but always loving. And one of the things that we appreciate about the Navy League is that they're supportive of all nonprofits in Santa Barbara, as well as, of course, the men who work at the sea. And it's not just, as I understand it, it's not just those people in the Navy, but also the Coast Guard, which serves everyone in Santa Barbara, that the Navy League takes to heart and supports in ways, in tangible ways, but also with material and equipment. I want to ask Larry what it felt like to be the center of attention. I know that's unusual for you.
The center of attention for the book?
Yes.
As you know, because you put on this filter, my son, and you looked at my flaws through the prism of love. And I wish everybody in the world, if you're a daddy and you're listening to this, what I wish for you is you have a son of such lovability and brightness that he sees you through that same prism of love.
Well, that's neat. Well, one of the things, of course, that's been happening towards the end of the year is that we honor our veterans. Larry was a veteran in World War II, a war I wasn't alive, of course. I was born in 1959, one of the baby boomers, but it's a war that, as I read history, that there's very little controversy about. It's a war that almost everyone feels was necessary to fight and that was successfully fought by our forces. Do you have any thoughts? It's been now more than 40 years since you served.
One of your chapters, son, quotes me as saying that I was in the best war. 400,000 men died. That's tragic. But of those of us, the millions who did not, it offered an opportunity, as the service still does, for a free education, to be able to buy a house with virtually no money, and to be honored decades and decades later. That wasn't true of subsequent military events that we had. And so if there could be such a thing as a good war, World War II was it.
It had special meaning in your personal life. Could you talk a little bit about the effect of serving the country? What it had in terms of the GI Bill and that sort of thing?
Yes, I was able to buy, and the audience may weep, 4-bedroom, 2-bath house for the huge sum of $11,999, including all appliances, because of a miraculous piece of legislation which still exists, called the GI Bill.
And it enabled you to go to university. It wasn't something you had even considered as a high school student.
No, I didn't even know anyone who'd been to college, and the GI Bill, education-wise, provided an education and paid me a little bit for being a student.
It's amazing. One of the things, Larry went to Syracuse, of course, where he was the only one to wear the number 6 jersey on the basketball team. And another famous basketball player, Bill Russell, also wore that jersey.
Wow,
So
yeah.
that was the only similarity there. One of the things that Larry said about the war, as terrible as it was that it was probably the best thing to ever happen to him in his life, because it led to his higher education, and it also led to a chance to look at his life in a new way. Could you comment a little bit about that?
I can't tell you what it was like to walk down the main street of Newark, New Jersey, with people waving flags and applauding. Da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da-da-da. We felt so valid. When we got out, we were cheered. And it changed. If you change your life 1 or 2 degrees at 21, you change it miles at 40, 60, and 80. So that was another benefit. We were so proud to have served our country. And a little bit of that sentiment ought to be applauded now, because the pain, the blood, the casualties are just as heinous as they were then.
This is on a very different tone, but I do recall an incident you told me about. This is directly after he came back from the war. Two parts to it. First, your first impression, the sense of what was America like. And then second, tell us about walking through that factory. Remember, most of the men were overworking, so this factory was peopled almost entirely with women. And there he was, just back from the war, one of the first veterans, all in his uniform. Tell us about that.
If you could keep the questions shorter, I could make the answers longer.
I'm more interested in the questions.
In April 1945, I had a lot of what they called points, and I got out, and we landed in Boston. And by train, we went by, on a cold New England day, April day, we went by a playground, and there was a riot of color, as there always been, yellows, greens, purples. And it was in contrast to the absolute black and white of Italy. So what was the second part?
The second is you get home and you go back to the factory you used to work in.
100 women, they're all old ladies now, whistled and hooted as I went back to the war industry job to visit. And it was probably the high point of my romantic life.
It was also the only time that you had a feeling of what it's like to be a sex symbol.
The only time, yes.
One of the things that Larry does is impersonate celebrities. This doesn't have a lot to do with the Navy, but it does have a lot to do with what Larry is very good at, and it's something that the Navy League does in terms of appreciating the people that serve our country. And it's his little trick, and I'm going to ask him to reveal this secret. And this is probably the first time on television we've done that. So if you see this, shh, don't tell anyone. Just joking. Tell us about the Brad Pitt stratagem. How does it work?
All right, one is in a restaurant and one sees 2, 3, or 4 ladies having lunch. One calls the head waiter over and says, I want to pick up a tab for those ladies, but I want you to tell them a story. Would you? Of course, sir. So tell them that Brad Pitt happened by and was struck by how well coiffed, how well turned out they were. And he didn't want to intrude, but he picked up the tab. And then I scoot out of there, and then the head waiter does that, and for a brief moment or two, the women imagine the other women leaving and Brad coming in, and then it dawns on them, the old prankster Larry Crandall has picked up another tab.
It's one of the unusual things about my father, and I say this as the objective part of me, I guess you could say, is that he leaves people happier than when he found them. And he genuinely leaves people smiling, sometimes shaking their head, but smiling. And I just to end, before we finish, I'd like to read you a blessing of Larry's. It's at the end of our book. It goes like this, and he means it to all of you, and certainly to everyone who's serving the country at sea. May you make your life from a pattern designed and redesigned by your heart. No matter how clever you are, no matter how rich, no matter even how funny you are. Nothing equals love. May it define your home, your journey, and your destination. And may it help you appreciate and enjoy the people around you. With love, Larry Crandall. Thank you all for this time. We've really enjoyed it.
The Navy League of the United States of America is pleased to present Sea Stories. And as an appropriate sea story here in Santa Barbara on this beautiful day, we couldn't be more pleased than to have Mr. Larry Crandall, otherwise known as Mr. Santa Barbara, here with us today to tell his sea story.
We're talking about a sea story, and the sea and I in the sea will appear somewhat later in the story. The time, December 11th, 1944. The place, Italy. The 15th Air Force. I was a bombardier in a crew that took off in a B-24 and flew to Vienna, where we bombed Nazi installations. The Nazis were angry we were doing this, and they sent up a lot of anti-aircraft fire. 2 of our 4 engines were knocked out, and the B-24 limped over Yugoslavia and got as far as the middle of the Adriatic Sea, at which time we were preparing for a ditching. That's where a plane designed to land on land lands in the sea. We hit the water at 100 miles an hour, and my theory that water was softer to land on than land went out one of the turrets. When I came to, I was underwater, and I thought, I'm a pretty good swimmer to die through drowning. So I stood up in the airplane. It was only 3 feet deep. All 10 of us climbed out of the plane, as you all have seen, onto those yellow dinghies. You can't get lost in the Adriatic. From 10,000 feet, you can see both land masses. We're picked up after 2 hours in the cold water, which is a lot like the water here in December in Santa Barbara. We were picked up by a fishing boat, taken to land, where miraculously an Army truck took us to the hospital at Foggia. They woke me up at 2 a.m. to give me a Purple Heart because I had a little bump on the head. But the story doesn't end there. When I was mended, a second malady occurred. The malady for which, decades later, Preparation H was invented. And so I moved gingerly back to our squadron, where I had to receive treatment in the very same place that the venereal disease victims were treated. And so the word spread, Lieutenant Crandall as VD. Unfortunately, both in America and in Italy, I had been unable to get within arm's length of a woman, Italian, American, whatever. And so I came up with the wonderful title, It Was an Immaculate Infection.
Well, the Santa Barbara Council of the Navy League of the United States is very, very grateful to Larry Crandall for his service to our country, service to our community, and for bringing more smiles to the hearts and faces of young people who have benefited from the many, many charitable contributions that Larry has made and helped others make to our community. Most important to us is that Larry has worn the cloth of his nation. He's worn it proudly. He's worn it with honor. He's worn it with courage. And as the Navy League of the United States is here today to pay homage and respect to those that have and are wearing the cloth of our nation, we would like to present you as a council with our Santa Barbara Navy League coin. This is a coin that is a tradition in the Navy and in the Army and services that is certainly considered as a gift of honor and respect when given from someone who belongs to a ship or to a council to someone who is very, very deserving of the honor of carrying that coin. And Larry, there's nobody in this community that's more deserving than you. And I'm really, really looking forward to reading your book. I know that it does go on sale here this week or next week. Can you tell us where we can get it, and if there are any events that we might want to talk about in December?
Thank you for the gift. We have a website, www.larrycrandall.com. It was put together by many people, including Stephen's brother, Michael, and we are appearing before the Rotary Northside on the 29th, on the 28th, at the bookstore in the Loretto Plaza,
yeah.
and later at Borders, and we have some other things we're going to announce very soon.
Well, December 1st, I understand, at the El Paseo.
Yes, we're taking over one of the
Paseo
theaters.
Nuevo Theater. Yep. And that's at 8 a.m. in the morning, and
Yes,
people are invited. They would like to have RSVPs for that.
Yes, and they can RSVP to the website.
Okay. That again was www.larrycrandell.com.
Yes.
Very well. Well, Larry, to you and to Stephen, we'd like to again say thank you, and we hope that you'll be back here many, many, many more times in the future years, and we truly mean that, future years.
Thanks, my friend.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Doug Crawford with the Board of Directors of the Navy League of the United States and the Santa Barbara Council, and we are here at the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, the Jewel of the Pacific, and today I'm here with Mr. Michael Roberts, who is on the Board of Directors also and head of the Legislative Affairs. Michael, it's an important title. I'd like to have you tell us what is it that Legislative Affairs does and what have the results of that been?
Well, thank you, Doug, and I appreciate you inviting me here to this picture postcard Chamber of Commerce Day at the Santa Barbara Yacht Club. And Legislative Affairs basically is what we've done is Navy League councils address legislative affairs at two levels, at the national level and at the local level. So just to encapsulate it, at the national level we're concerned with things such as building a 313-ship Navy, getting congressional support for the Deepwater Project, which is $25 billion over 24 years to recapitalize the Coast Guard. I might say to any fellow Navy Leaguers watching this, if they went on National's website at www.navyleague.org, they can go to our website, or Navy League's website, and get this maritime policy off our legislative affairs section. There's also a legislative agenda there, so there's a wealth of information on our website for any Navy League councils that want to initiate their own proactive legislative affairs.
Well, one of the primary missions of the Navy League of the United States is to educate our nation and our nation's leaders. And this is one of those topics that you're talking about. And I would like to let you know, Michael, that as long as I've been in the Navy League and now at a national level, you are doing the finest job that can be done regarding legislative affairs and introducing these very important topics to our legislators and to our local people. Tell us a little more about what's important.
Well, on a local level, there are two issues that, of course, we work with Rear Admiral Herring, Commander of Navy Region Southwest, and he sort of gave us our mission as legislative affairs at the local level, and that's dealing with your assembly people in the areas of the environment, protecting the environment, educational opportunities. One legislative issue of note is AB 1965, the payday loan crisis legislation, So there are three local examples of legislation. We've met with Pedro Nava, our local assembly person. We've met with Senator Tom McClintock and his representative Mike Stoker. So it's a proactive outreach, Doug, at a local level. I will give a plug here on the environmental issue area. Currents Magazine, which is the Navy's quarterly publication on what it's doing to protect the environment and also research renewable energies.
And the Navy, I understand, has one of the largest budgets in the world for the environmental protection issues. And we have a personal friend who is actually heading that up at the Pentagon right now, Captain Jim Simons. You may all remember him as the skipper of the USS Ronald Reagan when it came to our shoreline. And also, he was the gentleman that gave the flag at Ronald Reagan's funeral to Mrs. Reagan. So we've got a great man in that position and very knowledgeable about Santa Barbara. What else?
Yes, Chief of Environmental Division, CNO N45. Well, let's see. What we've also done, in addition to, we contact our legislative officials through personal meetings, through emails, phone calls, and then we also put together special events. And an example of that was our recent Education Summit, where we brought Santa Barbara City College and Admiral Herring to brainstorm how to plug more veterans. You know, Doug, 60,000 veterans exit the military each year. And Governor Schwarzenegger has passed his Veterans Education Opportunities Partnership Act, which means facilitating greater participation of exiting veterans in institutions of higher learning, getting their degree.
Well, education is a critical component. As California is facing a huge labor shortage, there are a couple of things that the Santa Barbara Navy League is taking leadership in doing. Michael's leading it on the side of education and facilitating the department, the Veterans Affairs Department was there at that meeting. Governor Schwarzenegger's deputy for this area was at that meeting. It was incredible to see the kind of attention paid by the Santa Barbara City College Foundation and also the president and vice president of that organization, John Romo and Jack Friedlander. And we really do look forward to follow-up and a lot of advancement in the opportunities given service people for extended education as they come back into the workplace. As you had just said, Mike, not only are 60,000 transferring out, but they're downsizing the Navy, downsizing the Air Force. And you have the best qualified workforce you could have possibly imagined, a work ethic of 60 to 80 hours a week, drug-free. They understand mission orientation. So employers have the opportunity, as a result of another activity that the Santa Barbara Navy League has been very involved in, is the Navy League Hiring Center, which is www.navyleague.info. Employers can go there and put their jobs up there and get automatically matched to all of the sea service people, Marines, Navy, Coast Guard people that are coming out, and give them opportunities to hire the best people they can. And those are the sons and daughters of this country that are wearing our nation's cloth. So I would like to really thank you very, very much for your outstanding leadership in the area of legislative affairs, but also really integrating and networking our community together. It takes a golden thread, and that's made up of time and commitment to be able to pull together people that we may have differences with in the community. They may have differences with us. But the idea is, how can we work together to make this a better place for all of us to live? And to that end, I would like to thank you for the discussion that you had with Mayor Blum recently when she asked if we could get together and talk about ship visits here in Santa Barbara in the future. That was a hand that we definitely intend to take and shake, and hopefully will be instrumental in bringing ships back to Santa Barbara. So thank you for your service.
Well, thank you, Doug. And I'll mention one last, we have a secret weapon in legislative affairs, too. This is Ronnie. This is the Ronnie Bear. I don't know how well you can see that. And this is great when we visit legislative staffers and staff. It's usually sitting on their computer when I come back, and it's a friend maker. So I thought I'd sign off with Ronnie the Bear here, our Beanie Baby.
Yeah. God bless and be well. Good afternoon. We're here at the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, and it's a pleasure to be here with Chief Tom Haug of the MSD, United States Coast Guard, and responsible in large part, I understand, for our safety and marine safety here. I'd like to learn a little bit. Two things, I guess, I'd like to ask you, Tom. What your mission is here, of course, with MSD, and then from your perspective, why does the Coast Guard need to be in Santa Barbara, and is it a special place, or what's your thought?
No, it's a special place already. We've got two questions. Let's go with the first one. Our mission, we cover 3 counties. We cover Santa Barbara, we cover up to San Luis Obispo County, and down to Ventura counties. We inspect the offshore platforms, we inspect the onshore facilities, we inspect the charter vessels, the whale watching vessels. We inspect so many different things, it's hard to keep track of. We're an 8-person unit. We cover everything that a larger unit, 100-person unit would cover in an area, but we're a remote unit. We report to Sector Los Angeles Long Beach. They're our parent command. They're the ones we report to. What we're looking for is safety of life at sea and security. So we're inspecting, when we go on board vessels or on board facilities, we're looking at things to protect the mariners themselves and protect the environment, and then protect the public, the people that are on board the vessels or on board the facilities, but then the people ashore, to make sure that everyone's doing what they want to and need to safely.
That sounds like a lot of responsibility, and probably takes quite a bit of knowledge. And what's the average tenure or years of service of the people that are serving in your unit?
Generally with our unit, we've got, like I said, a small unit, but most of our personnel that come to this unit have prior marine safety and security background. So they've been at least at another unit where they've had some exposure. They come here, they're ready to go. We're a small unit, and it's difficult to train people. We need people to be ready to go as soon as they get here. So a lot of our background is very specialized in both the marine safety and security fields.
And how about Santa Barbara? Is it a tough place to get, or would you rather be in Ketchikan?
Well, it is a tough place to get. There's a lot of people that look forward to coming to Santa Barbara. They really enjoy. Santa Barbara is well known, and it's well understood that it's a great place to live. It's a great place to visit, and of course the reception and the support that we get from the Santa Barbara Navy League is just incredible. And both from just them as an entity and as the city and the port stakeholders here. We get so much support, like Santa Barbara Yacht Club. There's a lot of support that we get from the surrounding communities, and we really appreciate that. We wouldn't be able to do our job without that kind of support. It's a great place to be, and everyone I know that comes here really looks forward to it. And people that leave, it's something that stays with them. They understand that, and they really enjoy looking forward. They look forward to coming back whenever they can, whether they get stationed back here again or they come back on their own vacation to live.
We're here at the Santa Barbara Yacht Club and very pleased to be here with the CO of the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Blackfin, Lieutenant Josh Empen. Welcome.
Nice to see you again, sir.
Well, it's very good to have you here and in our community, and obviously the Blackfin is a vessel that we see has a high profile here in our harbor, and be interested in understanding what it is your unit does and the size of your unit. Give us some information.
The Blackfin's an 87-foot ship. We operate from Dana Point all the way up to Morro Bay, up to about 300 yards or 300 nautical miles offshore. Occasionally do Mexico patrols. In the last year, we've gotten 2 big marijuana drug busts down there. Almost $27 million worth of marijuana kept off the streets. Got a crew of 12 guys. One of the best crews I've ever worked with in the Coast Guard. I'm pretty fortunate here in Santa Barbara with this ship and this crew.
Is that because the Santa Barbara area gets the best and the brightest to come to it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. And then we also have the Navy League here that really looks out for us. But it's a good place to be.
What is it that motivated you to want to join the Coast Guard and become an officer, and did you ever think you'd have your own ship?
I always wanted my own ship. I joined the Coast Guard because I wanted to give back something to the community. Really like going to sea, love the ocean, love being here in Santa Barbara, stationed in Miami. It's been great to me. I've been pretty fortunate in the Coast Guard.
What do you think you and the people that belong to the Coast Guard and that go out and spend perhaps days at sea get as a result of having joined and being members of that kind of an organization?
I think most of the people, they enjoy the excitement out there. You never know what's going to happen day to day. Could be out there for a search and rescue case, a couple hundred nautical miles offshore, saving someone's life, or you could be chasing down some drug runners down off the coast of Mexico. There's always that excitement, and just nice to be able to give back, and nice to also be out there and have some fun that we get to.
And saving people. I mean, vessels break down, and I know you have to board vessels as well, don't you, when you're out there to see if they're suspicious or within code? Is that accurate?
Right, yeah, we'll board vessels to make sure they're safe, so people are always safe out there, and once we get on board, then determine they're safe or not. And there's some other things we can do.
Okay, and if somebody is interested in learning more about joining the Coast Guard, recommendation would be to visit the website, I would imagine? Or?
They could check out the website, or here in Santa Barbara, just come down to the ship. We're always willing to give tours, talk about the Coast Guard. We also have the offices over here, the MSDs, the same, talk about the Coast Guard.
That's better than going to a website. We're not talking virtual here, we're talking real-life experiences and people that really do serve our country and benefit from it themselves as a result of that. It's an honor to have you here, and I thank you very much for your service.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.